As ABA professionals, we should know what the four functions of behavior are and how to identify them.
It's so important to know what the function is because we might be accidentally reinforcing a behavior by really trying to mean well. We have a student who comes every day to school and it has a very hard time transitioning into school, so has a meltdown when he gets dropped off. And mom, trying to help, says, "Oh no, I'm just going to take him home. It's okay. Like, let's just go home." And so what happens the next day when mom drops him off is he has a meltdown and he gets to go home. So mom means well. She's trying to help. She doesn't want to leave an upset child in school. But when we're looking at the function of the behavior, it really is escape to mom, right? And so what she's really doing is reinforcing the behavior so that it's going to keep happening because he keeps getting access to the function that the behavior is trying to communicate.
So, when we look at the four functions of behavior, we typically go with an acronym and we usually say EATS or SEAT, same thing. So we look at those bullet points, but really overall, before we talk about the four functions of behavior, we really do need to recognize one function that we never talk about, and that's communication. Most of the time, our students are trying, all of the time, I would argue, our students are trying to communicate something with us. They're trying to tell us something. So we need to figure out what that is. So let's go through the acronyms and start one at a time.
So the S for SEAT is sensory. Another name for that is automatic reinforcement. So it's the reason I bite my nails. It's the reason people keep smoking. It's the reason that you keep doing things because they just make you feel good. And it's the same thing for our kids. There isn't a clear trigger. There isn't a clear consequence or reinforcement or anything that's really maintaining that behavior other than that automatic or sensory feel. It's just, it feels good, so they keep doing it.
I'm fiddling with a pen right now. That could also be sensory or automatic reinforcement. The next one would be in SEAT, the acronym. The next one would be the E for escape. We can also say escape or avoidance. And that really is, I'm engaging in this behavior because I don't want to do it, or I want to avoid it, or I need a break. And that could be the reason as well.
So then the A stands for attention. And it's the child trying to say, I want attention for something. I want you to look at me. Usually the trigger or the antecedent is lack of attention.
And the T is tangible. So, engaging in negative behavior because somebody wants something. It's the classic example of the kid in the Walmart lineup and they see the candy bars right by the cash checkout and they throw a tantrum because they want a candy bar.
Or it's time to clean up your preferred activity and then what happens. Another good way to kind of generally think of these is they want something or they don't want something. So they either want attention or tangible, or they don't want to do something. Like you've presented them with a demand that they want to escape from. And once we've determined the function when we're looking at a behavior, the important thing to remember is to try to do the opposite of that function. So if you're dealing with a student who really wants escape from a certain activity or demand, then you're going to try to teach them different ways to get that escape. Thinking about replacement skills that will help them get escape, teach them to ask for a break, teach them to ask for help, or say that they don't want to do it. So what other ways can they get escape besides for this challenging behavior? And then when the challenging behavior does come up, you're going to do your best to not grant that escape. And we have a student now who will, hit his friend because he wants to play with them. So when I'm thinking about that, I think, okay, well, the function is attention. And if you would look at it very black and white, you think, well, the friend shouldn't give him attention if he hit him. But I'm thinking this poor student, English is not his first language. He doesn't really know how to interact. He's really just saying, play with me. I want to play with you. So instead of getting the other student to ignore him, what we're going to work on is, well, let's facilitate a really fun game together so that we can model, play with me, let's do it together. I want to build a tower, and giving him lots and lots of teaching trials to expose him to better language to say, play with me, as opposed to just thinking about well, let's just have them ignore this child until he somehow magically remembers to say, play with me. No, it's a lot of teaching and modeling and prompting them through these replacement behaviors so that they have better ways to communicate what this function is trying to say. Yeah, one of the main reasons we want to figure out the function is because we want to know what can we teach them, what skill is missing that we could teach them instead. And I really encourage, instead of just focusing on a function means consequence So if they're wanting attention, I ignore. If they're wanting escape, I follow through. To really think outside the box and think about, well, let's look a little bit deeper.
If you've got, the function of attention, for instance, we talked about, teaching people some initiation statements, but what if it's also about giving some non-contingent attention throughout the day? So we talk about the classic example of as soon as the phone rings or as soon as mom gets a text, the child's right on mom. But what about having some quote unquote me time or mommy me time when, at other parts throughout the day? And this is where we can teach the parent to put down their phones and really engage for a specific amount of time with their student or with their child, and really, give them that non-contingent attention. Build it into a schedule, maybe make a visual schedule so that the student can see when that me time is.
Yeah, it's about knowing what, fills their bucket. And then the more that you can know that, the more you can also know what motivates them. So then you can start using these as reinforcers. So if you know that they're engaging in things for attention, instead of just ignoring them, then let's make that the reinforcement.
We want to collect data throughout this whole process, basically to see whether or not what we're doing is working. And if we're seeing behavior increase, it means we have the function wrong.
So in summary, today we talked about the 4 functions of behavior, and you can use the acronym EATS or SEAT, and those stand for sensory, escape, access to tangible, and attention. And really thinking about what is this behavior trying to say or trying to communicate, and how can we give our students the skills to communicate it better?
You bet. So click on this link in around this video to get your free functions of behavior data sheet.